Well, good morning and welcome here to Lake Aniwhenua. Meeting an old teammate of mine here today, Tim Anderson, and he used to be in the New Zealand team with me. He's still in the New Zealand team, and I love my still waters, so Tim wanted to have a practice, a good chance to get away from the Taupo rivers in the middle of winter here. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of rain. The lake's quite dirty, but quite surprising today. There's probably about 2 to 3 feet of visibility. Obviously winter fishing is a little slower than any other time of the year because you haven't got the insect activities, but behind me here got a midge hatch happening, and Tim's not quite here yet, but gonna get rigged up and see what the day brings. It'll be tough, it won't be all on, but it's quite rewarding having to work for fish, so see what we can work out. Also got a couple of new flies. They're not new designs as such, but they're tied with a newer material that I've been working with a manufacturer in Europe with, and see how they go versus the old school tried and proven traditional flies that we chuck around all the time. So it's always good to just try something different. Yeah, won't be the greatest testing tank today, but we'll see what happens. So one change that I've recently made is switching all my lake reels and lines to the Guideline Nova Cassette reel. This is a beautiful little reel. It enables me to have in my kit here a whole lot more lines in the one smaller space. Easy to change. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines just in this little area. 2 reels, very compact, easy to swap in and out, and each line is housed on this cassette with a rather unique way of attaching. Most of the cassette reels have basically an O-ring to hold them in place, and they wear out over time, but this has this little quick release. If that comes into focus, come on, there's a little quick release knob here. So I'll give you a little rundown of how that all works because I'm about to change line. It's always the great unknown when we're fishing still waters, which line to run. So I think I'll start with the clear intermediate. This enables me to just hold my flies in the zone longer. This time of year, as I mentioned, it's a little coloured, and I don't really want to be moving my flies too fast so fish can't find them. So if we can fish a little slower without grabbing the bottom, grabbing the weed, keep it in the zone, we've got more chance of our flies being taken. So just undo this, pull the spool out, just clip the quick release easily off. Next one, just align this little white piece here with this white bit here. There we go. Put it back in the reel housing, which is fully caged. I don't think it really matters for lake fishing to have your reel caged, but it's made and designed in Scandinavia, and they do a lot of swinging, so they have thin running line. This reel has quite an incredible drag system. It's really nice and smooth. So I mean, a lot of times when we're fishing still waters, we're just hooking and hauling, but it's always nice if you're fishing lighter tippet to have a really nice smooth drag, and if we step it up into bigger fish, just to have a powerful drag as well. So we'll rig up the rod and get out there. So as mentioned, working with a new material that's just become available. It's a whole different bunch of series. We've got the Straggles, which are nothing new, but we've got a couple of new colorways. The MOSAIC, which is quite blingy. The red and black, which, you know, we've always tied a lot of holographic tinsel type body flies, so I'm expecting this one to work quite well. But one that is kind of new on the market and really hasn't been around for a while, and people have tied like this before using thread bases and then tied say a clear chenille straggle type UV straggle over the top, but this is all incorporated. So the thread of the straggle is actually coloured. So we've got a green, a pink, orange, and so on, red. So we're just going to give these a burn, and this is called a halo straggle, and as the name suggests, it creates a halo. And while this doesn't really look like much hair dry in the car park, when that baby's wet, it's a beautiful looking material. So we'll actually go and wet it, give you a sample. So as you can see there, we've got these outside UV fibers, and they all become like a translucent and brush back and create like almost a see-through body as such with the core underneath. So we'll see how this goes, but it looks amazing. I'd eat it. See what the fish think. So out of all the flies to choose, he's chosen the MOSAIC, which is good. He's taken the MOSAIC. Beauty. Beautiful. We're on again. Feels like a bigger fish. It's actually got me in the weeds right now, so I better go. Oh, is there another brown? Oh, it's a bow. Once again, fly of choice. Another awesome brown. It's been just running a fast intermediate, putting a booby on to keep it up. A couple of streamers. Black seems to be the favourite colour. Tim's joining me with the Inter now. He's been fishing a floater all morning. He's been getting fish, but he reckons he's going to follow me anyway. What's your theory, Tim?
Get your line in the water. Fish are here.
Yeah. Right, rip back into it.
Flies, I think you're in.
Here we go. Fish in the water, flies in the water, tip of the day. So we've just got a pretty prolific midge hatch going on. It took me a while to stop being stubborn and change. We've got a nice fish, and there's a few nice ones. Get into them, Tim. So we came over looking for some cleaner water, and Tim's in. Yeah!
Bigger.
Beauty! We're back on. Well, as part of my previous competition background, it's become a bit of a habit of mine to analyse things. So we're going to analyse the day that we had on the lake, testing these new materials. And the one thing that really, I wasn't expecting, as I mentioned, I wasn't expecting a great day on the lake. I was expecting a rather slow catch rate. And I don't really like to talk about numbers as such when it comes to my fishing days, but when it comes to analysing materials, new products, it's really important to get the data. Otherwise, we don't really know if it's even valid. It's no point really going out and catching one or two fish, and certain fly works, certain material works, and yeah, it's just what happened to be in front of the fish at the time. So if we can get multiple catch, days where we're catching a lot of fish and it becomes a pattern, then that data is really important. So, we'll always analyse that. We'll always see through it, and it's transparent. There may be other reasons as to why, and I'll talk about that. But my number one fly for the day was, and very surprisingly, this, which is the MOSAIC straggle. And you probably can't really see that clearly, but there we go, it's coming in. So just a black marabou tail, silver bead, gold bead, and the straggle. Now, first of all, when I looked at that, I thought, wow, that's bling. That's got a lot of bling. The first fish that I caught on it was a tiny rainbow, and obviously I just presumed he's a dumb little baby rainbow. He would eat anything. And shortly after that, a couple of really nice big browns, and the browns were following a few presentations. They were following them and rejecting them, turning them down. So added a booby, kept it higher in the water column, just slowed it down, and I got all the browns on that same MOSAIC straggle. So there's something there. So I'll show you what that material looks like. There we go. And I was running a 3-fly rig, so a top attractor dropper. This MOSAIC is my middle dropper, and my point fly, which is usually my go-to #1 fly that I use all the time, which is a brown bugger, orange bead, a few other little additives there. That's my go-to #1 catch rate fly that I use all the time, and it took 1 fish all day. I ended up with 15 fish, and like I said, I don't like to throw out numbers, but this is important data. So I took 15 fish for the day. 12 of those fish were on that MOSAIC in the middle dropper, 1 on the point on my tried and proven fly, and nothing on the top dropper, which was the halo material that we mentioned in the video. I'm not saying the halo material isn't going to work or didn't work. It just, the lake as we saw was dirty, it was cold. That black fly seemed to be the go-to for the day. I'm expecting the halo material to really do well in clearer lakes, maybe later in the year when the insect activity is more pronounced. So I'm not writing it off, but right now I'm pretty excited what that MOSAIC's done. So the other fish that I caught, the other 2 fish that I caught actually, so I ended up with 16. The other 2 fish that I caught were on dry fly midges, which was amazing to have. Middle of winter, taking fish on dries. There was a little short window of opportunity where saw swallows work in the water. There was a midge hatch happening. I said to Tim, let's get over there. And for only about 30 to 40 meters is this one bay, and only for about 10 meters off the bank, there were just fish rising everywhere. Like, we're talking 20 or 30 fish and some big browns. And as usual, I just threw what I had on at them. So I had the intermediate, the streamers, and they just ignored everything. I then switched it up, put a booby, a little midge nymph, like a buzzer pattern, and they ignored that as well. And so I made the change. I knew the hatch would only last a little while, so I made the change quickly. It started to slow down, and it was really like, it was almost stop this hatch, and then it started to happen again, and a little bit of rise action, and by then I'd switched to the floater, the dry flies, and picked up the 2 fish. So that was really neat to do in winter. So yeah, great day on the lake. Pretty excited about the new materials that I was testing, and just to put them up against the tried and proven, and they actually wiped the dance floor with the of the tried and proven. So early days yet, but pretty exciting. So I'll actually get to the vise now, and I'll tie up a couple of patterns and just show you how that material works and how you apply it. Let's get into it. Right, so I'm running with the Fasna 210 stillwater hook, silver bead, 3mm, gold bead probably work perfectly fine, or just mix it up and try different combinations. Just a touch of glue there. I'm running the GSP threads all the time, so I just find they just never break. You can really apply a lot more pressure, so just coat the hook shank all the way down to the bend. The GSP threads tend to slip a little, so that's why we're gluing them. Right, Fasna Marabou. Mix up the combinations as well. I found the other day, as I mentioned, the black was the go-to. Later in the year, maybe the olive is a much better option. just pinch wrap that, stops it spinning around. I like to run the marabou all the way up the hook, so then it's like an even body all the way to the bead. And bind it in, back down towards the tail, and this is where we want to just wrap underneath the marabou tail. It stops the marabou wrapping around the hook as we're fishing as much as it does if we don't like under wrap it. Bring it forward a little bit, and here we have the MOSAIC straggle in black, and that's what it looks like. So the fibers are angling downward away from the head of the hook. We'll just pull a few fibers away from the core. A few wraps just to bind it down. And this is where it's really important. Brush each fiber back as we work our way, touching wraps upwards. So as we turn, the material will always push forward, so we want to keep twisting it so it's facing backward. But still brush it back with our fingers. Last little wrap behind the bead. Overlap the thread. Catch it off. Bring it in forward of the material. Bring it in behind the material again, just to catch it there. Trim that off with really fine point scissors so we're not chopping the rest of the material. Brush it back with our fingers. And just put a few binds in there. Really pull down behind the bead. Couple of half hitches there. And if you want a whip finish with your fingers. Trim that off, and there we have it. You can fish it just like that, but just for the sake of the angler believing in the fly, I always like to give a little brush, make it look a little tidier. It just makes me feel like I've done a good job. So there we have it. That was the fly that worked so well the other day, and we'll get out there and we'll try it again and bring you the data as we get it.